individuals on commercial, government investigations, agency and tribal boundary disputes, as well as personal injury. Founded and led by former United States Attorneys Brendan Johnson and Tim Purdon, their American Indian law and policy practice exists to bring justice to tribal clients whose claims in the past have been dismissed or ignored due to their underdog status. If you or your tribe are facing legal issues, contact robinskaplan.com or call toll-free at 1-800-553-9910.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
Hey, Ogimaa, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN 350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN 350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lulia. Partly cloudy tonight with a low of 33. Then on Saturday, sunny skies and a high of 42. Hazel's Northeast is now open Tuesdays through Sundays, offering the most creative comfort food you'll find. They're at 29th and Johnson in Minneapolis, just minutes from 35W. More at hazelsne2go.com.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake. Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakunjahare, which means distant thunder.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Robert. I want to tell you some exciting news that we have to share. The Minnesota Wild are celebrating Native American Heritage Day on Friday, November 26th, when they host the Winnipeg Jets.
The Wild will wear special Native American heritage jerseys during warm-ups.
Bid on those jerseys from November 26th to December 6th at wild.com/online auctions. Proceeds will go towards the Minnesota Wild Foundation.
T-shirt and jersey features Dakota Indian design will be given to the first 5,000 fans. Well, that was smooth.
Purchase a special Native American Heritage Day ticket package with the portion of ticket sales donated back to the Lower Failing Creek Project. Log on to wild.com/theme packs to purchase.
Hey, let's go with Ogimaa with the news.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Ogimaa Giniw Ikwe, and I have news for you here today on Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. As much as it pains me to start here, even though I usually start in news of Line 3, I do want to acknowledge that BIPOC communities all over the country are currently facing a new wave of anger, fear, and disappointment after the verdicts of Kyle Rittenhouse were delivered today. Kyle Rittenhouse murdered 2 people and shot another during protests in Kenosha, Wisconsin, following the police shooting of Jacob Blake, who was left partially paralyzed after a police officer shot him 7 times in the back outside an apartment complex in Kenosha on August 23rd of 2020. Today, Friday, November 19th, 2021, Rittenhouse was acquitted of first-degree intentional homicide and 4 other felony charges. CNN reported that President Biden said he did not watch the trial of Kyle Rittenhouse, but he stands by the verdict and the judicial system. When asked if he stood by past comments equating Rittenhouse to a white supremacist, Biden didn't directly answer. Our deepest condolences and prayers are extended to the family and friends of Anthony Huber and Joseph Rosenbaum, who were murdered by Kyle Rittenhouse. We also send our prayers for Gage Grosskreutz, who sustained injuries from Rittenhouse. Our prayers are also lifted for Jacob Blake and his family for the trauma they've experienced after he was shot in the back by police in front of his 3 children, which later sparked the protests that led Kyle Rittenhouse to murder 2 people and injure another. In line 3 news, or I should say news of what Enbridge Energy is up to now, from truthout.org today, Enbridge Energy is looking to increase capacity across its fossil fuel infrastructure systems in the Texas Gulf Coast, including potentially building a pipeline linking the Houston area to its newly acquired crude export hub at the port of Corpus Christi in order to accommodate Line 3's ramped up capacity. Texas Gulf Coast indigenous communities are vowing resistance to Enbridge's Gulf expansion plans in solidarity with the White Earth Band of Ojibwe Water Protector, Winona LaDuke, and other Anishinaabe peoples and their continued resistance to Enbridge and Line 3. The Karankawa Kadla tribe and the Ingleside on the Bay Coastal Watch Association did file a lawsuit in federal court against the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers this August for issuing the permit for the then Moda Midstream-owned Ingleside terminal, which is the same crude export terminal that Enbridge now has purchased as of mid-October and wants to link with a Seaway pipeline. This would double Enbridge's capacity and expand operations into an underdeveloped area sacred to the area's native people. Their suit argues that the plans to construct the additional deep water dock and turning basin failed to address environmental and community concerns as required under the National Environmental Policy Act and the Clean Water Act, and that expansion will destroy a Karankawa cultural site and ecologically sensitive seagrasses and wetlands. Enbridge says for now it plans to delay construction until August 22. However, the Army Corps wrote in a response to public comments that because the Karankawa Kadla are not a federally recognized tribe, they have, quote, no special consultation rights and are considered members of the public, end quote. In permit documents, the Army Corps said the project's required archaeological surveys and environmental mitigation had already been done. In addition, the Biden administration this week held the largest federal offshore drilling auction of the Gulf waters in U.S. history on Wednesday. ExxonMobil and Chevron were among the top buyers at yesterday's federal auction of oil leases in the Gulf, and it generated more than $190 million, which is the highest since 2019. Meanwhile, in Canada, where Enbridge Energy originates, there is currently no way to drive between Vancouver and the rest of Canada. This is coming in from KeenLawanow.com. The Lower Mainland and Fraser Valley are now completely cut off from the rest of British Columbia and the country by road after flooding and mudslides have closed most of the routes between the coast and the British Columbia interior over the past 24 hours. The route came through and remained, one of the routes came through and remained open this morning, but shortly after 11 a.m., it was reported by Drive British Columbia that a mudslide 42 kilometers south of Lillooet had shut down the last highway as well. So currently the only way to drive between the coast and the rest of Canada is through the United States. However, the state of Washington is also seeing highway closures due to the heavy rains and inclement weather, and residents would need to get a COVID-19 test to be able to re-enter Canada. In brighter news for today, I do want to touch base on a really awesome film that is going to be premiering this Saturday in Montana. A film that was shot entirely in the Blackfoot language is set to premiere, and it will be screened Saturday, November 20th as part of the Montana Film Festival. The screening at 4 p.m. is sold out, and they have now added a 7:45 p.m. Screening as well. The film, again, shot entirely on Blackfeet tribal land and in the Blackfoot language, in the dialogue of Sioux, is delivered in the ancestral tongue of its people and is the first film to be produced in such a form. Sioux was filmed outside the Depoyer at Swift Lake, at Depoyer at Swift Lake in Montana. The concept for the movie is conceptually and historically driven, and Sioux is supposed to be a powerful exhibition of art. And it's going to follow the plot of a young Pikuni man, creature hunter, witnessing the devastation brought on by his community from the contagious spread of deadly smallpox. It's not a warm, fuzzy story. It's maybe not something you want to sit down and watch with your family. But Jesse DeRozier, who translated the script from Blackfoot and appeared in the film, is the teacher of the Blackfoot language at Cutswood School in Browning and Blackfeet Community College. And his statements about the film highlight the similarities of the history of the disease of smallpox and what happened with Native people with that, as well as highlighting the similarities to the current fight against COVID-19, which, as we all know, as Native people, is a race against time to save our elders and youth alike. It is Friday, and again, I just want to touch base on the Kyle Rittenhouse case. I sincerely hope that those of you who are feeling an intense sense of fear after these verdicts were read today, do not let that fear lead you to violence or to compliance. I'm Ogimaa Giniw Ikwe with Native Roots Radio. Back to you, Robert.
Pinigigi Ogimaa, that's somber messaging, Wendy.
Awesome news, and thank you for reporting on that. Yeah, we're really upset and sad and kind of astonished about the verdict.
Right.
We were saying earlier, we feel like we're living in the upside down world, and that's exactly what it feels like. So I don't know what's going to happen after this. We're just going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, definitely. Well, today we have State Senator Mary Kunesh up next here, and if you guys at the studio could play the bumper music, we're running a little blind here.
Or I could play the bumper music.
Well, you just got to make sure you let them know. Is this another one of those practices?
It is a practice. Today's a practice show.
Awesome. Hey, well, you're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and Pinigigi there, Ogimaa for the news. And we'll be right back with State Senator Mary Kunesh.
Stay with us. For too long, American Indian tribes have faced a competitive disadvantage when litigating against powerful forces. With its American Indian law and policy practice, Robbins Kaplan, LLP, seeks to redefine excellence for high-stakes litigation in Indian country. They have worked hand in hand with tribes to implement the Tribal Law and Order Act, fighting against diminishment of tribal lands and natural resources, and improving public safety on reservations. The Robbins Kaplan American Indian Law and Policy Practice serves tribes and individuals on commercial, government investigations, agency and tribal boundary disputes, as well as personal injury. Founded and led by former United States Attorneys Brendan Johnson and Tim Purdon, their American Indian Law and Policy Practice exists to bring justice to tribal clients whose claims in the past have been dismissed or ignored due to their underdog status. If you or your tribe are facing legal issues, contact robinskaplan.com or call toll-free at 1-800-553-9910.
Unwanted sexting or photos, inappropriate jokes, even tickling or wrestling can feel like a violation. Catcalling, cornering, or groping, getting them drunk or high for sex, recording sexual acts without permission, hurting someone because of their sexual orientation, raping a family member, a child, a date, a friend, a stranger, purchasing a human being for sex. You make the choice every single time. Sexual violence is many things. Make a choice. Do not do it.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hey, Ogimaa, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN 350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN 350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
You're listening to Native Roots Radio. This is Spirit from Reservation Dogs. Get up and listen.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot.
Robert, we have exciting news to share. The Minnesota Wild are celebrating Native American Heritage Day on Friday, November 26th, when they host the Winnipeg Jets.
The Wild will wear special Native American Heritage jerseys during the warm-ups.
And you could bid on those jerseys from November 26th to December 6th at wild.com/online auctions. Proceeds will go towards the Minnesota Wild Foundation.
T-shirt jerseys that feature Dakota Indian design will be given to the first 5,000 fans.
Purchase a special Native American Heritage Day ticket package and with a portion of the ticket sales donated back to the Lower Phelan Creek Project. And you could log on to wild.com/theme packs to purchase.
I bet Mary's got some tickets there that she can hook us up with.
Woo-hoo, go wild.
Hey, State Senator Mary Kunesh here. It's a fabulous Friday. We were just talking a little bit with the news about what happened in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and we're living in an upside down world. So I don't know. We're a little double-edged sword here. It's Friday. The store's been really crazy and doing well, but we end the week with this kind of bummer news. Welcome.
Wow. Thank you. Let's talk about hockey.
Yeah. What a segue, right?
Yeah. I don't have any deals on hockey gear or hockey tickets or anything like that. But I mean, it is kind of dumbfounding that he was found not guilty on all counts. And in this day and age when there are so many guns out there of all kinds, from automatic, semi-automatic to handguns. I mean, like anything you want, it feels like you can get it. And people say, well, I need one for self-defense, but it just means that there's going to be more and more, sorrow, like what we're seeing right here and right now. And it feels like more people are arming themselves, and whether it's an accident or your kid gets their hands on it, or somebody walks into your house and you just blast away without asking, I don't know. But it's kind of a scary time out there. So I'm just hoping that somehow sense will return to our society.
Yeah. And I don't know, Wendy and I were talking a little bit today, and it's just like I'm saying that with all these phones and little cameras and things like that everywhere, we're seeing more things that we normally didn't see, whether it's a murder or not a murder, but the shooting of that African-American man going to his car that really made this whole thing start. And end up with this young man, or wasn't even a man, he's under 18, with a semi-automatic rifle, and then killing two people and really injuring and blowing the arm off another one. And yet he's innocent because it's not a good thing to protest, I guess, and they deserved it, or however they came around it. But it was just really a loaded court from the judge all the way down, and it was very, very disheartening and sickening.
Yep. And if it's one thing we know, violence begets violence, and somehow we have to bring an end to it.
Yeah, it's sad, but we do wanted to talk a little bit to you about that, and we should probably move on a little bit right now. I saw you last night at a great gathering, very positive gathering of Native Americans at a Native American-owned hotel in downtown St. Paul. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. It was a really, really nice evening. I don't know. Well, you get out a lot more than I do. I'm being a little cautious with a newborn in the family. But we joined all these incredible Native American leaders and folks that are, boots on the ground working hard for our Native communities here in especially the metro area. It was held at, as you said, at a Native owned hotel. What is it?
International.
The International downtown St. Paul. Sorry, I wanted to say Continental, but I knew that wasn't quite right. And it was a celebration.
I'm old. I'm old. I call it the Hilton still, because that's what it originally was. 60
Yeah,
years
and it was a celebration of our urban indigenous folks, and to learn a little bit about this well-contained, well-organized effort to bring funding down from the state government that, has trickled down from the federal government as well to support our urban indigenous organizations. So we, of course, gathered on the ancestral lands of our Dakota ancestors, and we were entertained quite a bit. By first of all, Deanna Standing Cloud. She was the MC. She's so funny, and what I really like about her is that she's also begun to MC powwows. So women MCs for powwows are a rare breed, but she does an extremely great job of it. And of course, our Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, Anishinaabe leader, was there to share. West End Singers were our drummers and our singers, and then Joe Hobart took us through this project. Well, it's like a multi-organizational consortium requesting legislative dollars from the state government in order to address some of the needs within our urban area, basically transforming the indigenous landscapes of the Twin Cities. And so they have put together, they've band together, as you might think, and all these different organizations, Migizi and Anda Young Homeless Shelters, the Indigenous Peoples Task Force, the American Indian Center, Lower Phelan, Wakan Tipi, all of these organizations, along with, the clinic, our medical clinic that serves not just our Minnesota Native folks, but they come from all over because they trust them. And of course, Little Earth and the Division of Indian Works. So they have come together to put together funding requests from the state legislature. They've put together this beautiful project and program that they can take to legislators to help educate them around the request. One of the members is our Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center that works so hard on battling against the homelessness and violence that our Native women and community members are experiencing out there. And so it was just really exciting to see everybody. It was like old home reunion. And of course, we had a wonderful introduction and a reminder of our history from Sean Sherman, who is our incredible chef and has the most fabulous restaurant, Owami, here in Minneapolis.
Yeah. Oh, we just lost Mary. She may have accidentally deleted herself. But yeah, Sean Sherman and Lieutenant Governor was there too, Wendy.
Mm-hmm.
It was awesome. And Sean was kind of like, it was almost like a TED Talk of sorts, It was, but it was kind of this, it was interesting. You talked about the history of food and also, where the commods, he showed a can of beef and gravy that was given out to Native Americans. And, we suffer from type 2 diabetes and diabetes, Wendy, that just devastates us tremendously. So it's like, oh, there's Mary again. Hey,
that's awesome. And his restaurant is awesome. It's on 421st Street in Minneapolis. Robert and I went down there when it was still nice out, and we sat outside and ate some beautiful, really authentic Native American food, and it was just really so spectacular. We have to make reservations to go back there again.
Well, he asked how many people had been there, and I'd say 90% of the people that were there, and there was probably there's about 300 people there, you think, or
at least
around that?
Yeah.
And 90% of them raised their hands.
Oh, yeah, it's hard to get a reservation there, but one thing that he really emphasized that I appreciated is that first of all, there are not very many Native American chefs or restaurants that use local indigenous foods 100%. And what he said that really made a lot of sense is like, look around you, look at what the foods that the ancestors used in your ecosystem, in your environment, and use those foods, rather than importing, this grain or that product from across the country. There's plenty right outside our door in our own neighborhoods. I mean, I was there for a retreat one day, and they treated us so royally. We had breakfast, we had lunch, we had an afternoon snack, and he made the porridge in the morning. And the granola that they served us had crickets in it. And it was absolutely delicious. I will always eat crickets when served to me.
Let's talk a little bit more on the next segment. Hey, you're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and we're with State Senator Mary Kunesh, and we'll be right back after this short break.
Stay with us.
Hey, Wendy, what are we doing for dinner after the show?
How about we go to J. Selby's on 169 Victoria Street in St. Paul? They have a delicious plant-based menu that's compassionate and environmentally sustainable.
I'm getting their spot-on vegan Big Mac, the dirty secret.
You can pick up and they deliver within a 5-mile radius, or you can call them at 651-222-3263 or visit jselbys.com.
Well, you sold me, Wen. Let's go order at J. Selby's tonight.
I'm hungry.
Hamidakiapi, Ruben Amakiapi, Gamaza Adidi Hemie. I'm Ruben, and I'm a recording artist. COVID cases are still high in Indian country. Even if you're a younger person, you're still at risk for getting COVID or spreading it to friends, family, elders, teachers, and classmates. Right now, anyone over the age of 12 is eligible for a COVID vaccine. The vaccines will protect you from severe illness and make it much less likely that you'll spread COVID to others. Plus, there's more great reasons to get vaccinated. All Minnesota teens between ages of 12 to 17 that completed their 2-dose vaccine series in 2021 are eligible to enter a drawing for a $100,000 college scholarship. And if you get vaccinated before November 30th, you're eligible to receive a $200 Visa gift card. So protect yourself and others by getting vaccinated. You may even win some cash or a college scholarship. Find a vaccination site by calling 651-304-9986 or visit vaccineconnector.mn.gov. Get vaccinated and don't miss this great opportunity for a college scholarship. 651-304-9986 or visit vaccineconnector.mn.gov.
If you're hurting in your relationship or have been affected by sexual violence, you're not alone. Strong Hearts Native Helpline can help you through these difficult and uncertain times. Strong Hearts Helpline is a free 24/7 confidential domestic dating and sexual violence helpline for Native Americans. Help is available by calling 1-844-762-8483 or by clicking on the Chat Now icon on strongheartshelpline.org. This message is sponsored by the National Indigenous Women's Resource Center.
This is Santita Jackson, Minneapolis, St. Paul. I couldn't be more excited about starting our days together, Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 a.m. Central on the Progressive Voice of Minnesota.
Hi, Don from Wisco Home Goods here. Jeremy and I handcraft our 100% non-toxic candles from locally sourced materials in our Madison, Wisconsin facility. Wisco Home Goods candles come in a variety of unique blends and scents that you're sure to love. Add a little warmth to your home as the days get colder with one of our Midnight Cypress or Up North candles. Order at WiscoHomeGoods.com. Natural, healthy, nourishing candles and more at WiscoHomeGoods.com.
For too long, American Indian tribes have faced a competitive disadvantage when litigating against powerful forces. With its American Indian law and policy practice, Robbins Kaplan, LLP, seeks to redefine excellence for high-stakes litigation in Indian country. They have worked hand-in-hand with tribes to implement the Tribal Law and Order Act, fighting against diminishment of tribal lands and natural resources, and improving public safety on reservations. The Robbins Kaplan American Indian Law and Policy Practice serves tribes and individuals on commercial, government investigations, agency and tribal boundary disputes, as well as personal injury. Founded and led by former United States Attorneys Brendan Johnson and Tim Purdon, their American Indian Law and Policy Practice exists to bring justice to tribal clients whose claims in the past have been dismissed or ignored due to their underdog status. If you or your tribe are facing legal issues, contact robinskaplan.com or call toll-free at 1-800-553-9910.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lulia. Partly cloudy tonight with a low of 33. Then on Saturday, sunny skies and a high of 42. Hazel's Northeast is now open Tuesdays through Sundays, offering the most creative comfort food you'll find. They're at 29th and Johnson in Minneapolis, just minutes from 35W. More at hazelsne2go.com.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
Hey, welcome back to Native Roots Radio Presents. I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is brought to you by the Minnesota Wild. They are celebrating Native American Heritage Day on Friday, November 26th, when they host the Winnipeg Jets.
Hey, the Wild will wear special Native American heritage jerseys during warm-ups.
And you could bid on those jerseys from November 26th through December 6th at wild.com/online auctions. Proceeds will go towards the Minnesota Wild Foundation.
T-shirts and jerseys that feature Dakota Indian design will be given to the first 5,000 fans.
Purchase a special Native American Heritage Day ticket package with a portion of the ticket sales donated back to Lower Failing Creek Project. Log on to wild.com/theme packs to purchase.
Wow, you must have went to school for this, Wendy. You're so good at this.
Whatever.
Oh, I just, before we get to State Senator Mary Kunesh, I just want to give Wix a quick shout out. We're selling their candles in our store, and it's probably the number one thing that's being sold in our store.
It is the number one thing that we sell in our store. It's Native Roots Trading Post, 700 Nicollet Mall in Minneapolis, in the Dayton's building on the first floor, and that's the Wix candles with our logo on their jar. It's beautiful.
and they sent us flowers and congratulations on a big opening. So
thank you.
We're still waiting for Mary to send us flowers, but better yet, she's here. So let's get back to State Senator Mary Kunesh.
We should be sending her flowers.
That's right, and a complimentary T-shirt or something, right? Here,
Flowers.
There you go. Yeah. Hey. So yeah, let's just finish up the last night. It was awesome. There was one thing too with Sean Sherman, who owns the restaurant
Owami.
Thank you.
Owami.
Yes, Owami. And there was another thing that he mentioned too that really kind of struck me this time, was that he was talking about all the forests being cut down and all the way from the East Coast to here, and all the medicines that we've lost in seeds and things like that. And it really hit me last night, Mary, when he said that.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's the truth. It's just the truth. We've lost so much, not just our knowledge and our skill, but the actual craft of collecting indigenous plants and products that our ancestors used for years and decades, hundreds of years, to cure just about anything. You have to remember that when the settlers came and this, wherever colonization happens, most of the indigenous people had no tolerance for the diseases and the plague and the flus that the Europeans brought over, and they had no defense, natural defense, either physiologically or within their bag of herbs and medicinal issues. So there's just been so much to relearn, and I know there are plenty of folks out there. He's going to open up that indigenous lab. Is that what he called it? And there's going to be and there's going to be opportunities for Native folks who are putting together their own like reclamation of products to be able to not only work there and have a workspace, but also to market their businesses. Sharon Day, who is an elder here, she's a Nibi Walker, water walker and elder, has been working on a line of Indigibaby food. So it's 100% natural, indigenous baby food. So as soon as that's out, I'll be picking up some of that for my granddaughter. but it just provides, like a real think tank actually for our community members to go back into maybe their memories or the elders and put together some of these ancient ways of taking care of all of us.
Yeah, and like Winona LaDuke likes to remind us that we've been here over 10,000 years, and we are the home team. And one of the things that you probably get this too, but being kind of out in the public and people knowing me, I have people handing off old seeds to me all the time, and I hand them off to people that are planting and doing things with them in a good way, because I would hate to plant them in our backyard and then have our crows and everybody eating our seeds. So I give them to people that really know what they're doing when it comes to like growing food. But it's interesting because it isn't the yellow corn, it's the purple, dark purple and beautiful colors that Native Americans have been eating and dealing with for tens of thousands of years on this continent, and longer than that too.
Yeah, I have a sister that cultivated and grows Indian corn, authentic Indian corn, like the beautiful colors. I should go grab some of them. And then she dries them and shares them with us. And it's just, it just is so heartwarming to grow those. And then a few weeks ago, I went up to Ely, Minnesota, all the way up north, and did a presentation for the MMIW on the MMIW work that we've been doing. And I went to the Vermilion Community College, and the students were just, an incredible audience, but they also gifted me this wonderful basket of indigenous items from up there. And one of them was homegrown tobacco, not wacky tobacco, but tobacco, sacred tobacco. And then they gave me seeds so that I'm going to be able to now, not only share those, but perhaps grow my own crop to dry and use. And so that's how it's done. And I don't know if you've read the book, The Seed Keeper.
I have it right here. No, I haven't read it, but we've had her on a couple times.
I mean, when I read that, of course, it parallels the tragedy of the children removed from their homes, but also the sacredness and how they preserve those seeds, burying them underground in protective clay or whatever. And the book was so well written, I could just visualize that. And when they went back and dug it up and there the seeds were, I just wanted to give a hoop, because now something else has been saved that's been lost.
Diane Wilson wrote that. Yep. I just had to look at my copy. Hey, one of the things too I want to mention too, if we're talking about this, is the three grandmothers. Can you tell our audience who the three grandmothers are when it comes to growing corn in a good way?
Yeah, those are the three. We call them. Yeah, the three sisters are the three grandmas, but it's corn. And within the corn, you grow beans, because the beans will wind up the stalk of the corn. And then the squash, isn't it the squash that will then sort of protect the ground and keep the moisture in as it spreads out? And, those will vine as well. But they all, help each other. The nutrition that they take and put back into the ground for each other, they're just very compatible, and it makes perfect sense when you grow them. And many years we have combined that and done that. I just helped my daughter clean out her garden, and we pulled the green beans off of it's actually a wooden teepee that she made, and then put everything underneath that. So pretty cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. And I was going to say indigenous, but ingenious is what I meant to say.
Ingenious, indigenous, yes.
Yeah. Oh, a T-shirt. I see a
there
T-shirt.
You go.
So yeah, we get that is things that are coming back too, right? I mean, they've been hidden and not talked about, but now people like Sean Sherman and people writing the book like The Seed Keeper are making that where people know about this now. I've come back to our people and not known anything. So when you see stuff like and hear stuff and read stuff like this, it's really awesome.
It is. I just want to say this really quick. There is a vault in the mountains on the remote island halfway between mainland Norway and the North Pole. It's called the Svalbard Global Seed Vault. And that's where it is, and it stays, and all the seeds are in there in case, the world comes to an end. Whoever survives can go and get these seeds somewhere and start planting again, because that's how important seeds are.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about how we moved away from growing our home gardens and using, those fresh vegetables as rather than like frozen peas and corn or canned peas and corn that maybe like I grew up with. And it was interesting because my daughter also had a bumper crop of tomatoes, and there were still quite a few green ones on the stalks. And I don't know if you know this, but if you take those unripe tomatoes and put them in a brown bag and like put them in your basement or somewhere that's cool and dark, every so often, every few days, open it up and they will just ripen right in the bags as you go. And she was telling me that it's been working really well.
Yeah, that's awesome. That really is. Hey, we have like a really cool people messaging us, and Kathleen has just been awesome shooting up some stuff. The Three Sisters corn, beans, squash. Yes, the teepee helps it grow. She freezes her seeds, and she put powder milk to tablespoons in mason jars too. Interesting. So it's just we have some awesome listeners all over Turtle Island. So Mary Kunesh for being on, and it was fun talking seeds and hockey there.
You never know. I never know what we're going to talk about. Even when you say, hey, we're going to do this, and I get on here and we go in these different tangents, and I think that's what makes it so much fun.
It is fun. And Robert Lilligren, who's on Thursdays, said the same thing. He goes, I don't even prepare for the show because it goes where it goes.
It just goes where it goes. Yep,
I think that's part of our charm. And
we flow with the wind.
Right. Part of our charm is having great guests like you, Mary. So I really appreciate you being on, and have a great weekend, and keep on doing what you're doing, because you're really helping our community.
I'm happy to do it. Thank you, Robert. And thank you, Wendy.
Yes. Thank you, Mary, as always.
All right on. You're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and we probably don't have the fourth section figured out either. We're just winging that.
Wing into it. Yep, it's Friday.
Okay, cool. You're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and we'll be right back.
Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Anna, and I'm 8 years old, and I'm getting my COVID vaccine. If you're between 5 and 11 years old, you can get vaccinated too. Getting the jab might seem a little scary, but there is lots of good reasons to do it. You'll be protected from COVID, and you'll be less likely to spread it to people like family and friends. Have your parents find a vaccination site by calling 651-304-9986 or visit vaccineconnector.mn.gov.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy, but with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
Hey, Ogimaa, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN 350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN 350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States, and 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected. Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf. Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy. As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired. Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
This is Winona LaDuke of Honor the Earth, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio. I'm awake.
We are Alusa Nation.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake.
This portion of the show is brought to you by the Minnesota Wild. They are celebrating Native American Heritage Day on Friday, November 26th, when they host the Winnipeg Jets.
Hey, the Wild will wear special Native American Heritage jerseys during warm-up.
You could bid on those jerseys from November 26th to December 6th at wild.com/online auctions. Proceeds will go towards the Minnesota Wild Foundation.
T-shirt jerseys features a Dakota Indian design will be given to the first 5,000 fans.
Purchase a special Native American Heritage Day ticket package with a portion of the ticket sales donated back to the Lower Failing Creek Project. Log on to wild.com/theme packs to purchase. And also, this portion of the show is brought to you by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations.
Oh, look at my hair. I got a little wolf hair going on there.
If anybody's on Facebook, Robert, can you back me up a little? I look like big. There we go. Thank you. That was like, if anybody was watching, it was just like my whole face taking up the camera.
Wow. Hey.
Yeah, so, it's Friday.
Great job at the store. Really, 2 really nice, successful days happening.
Yeah, it's been really wonderful. And a lot of our people who listen to the radio show has stopped in the last 2 days to say hey, and it's been really, really cool. So if you need to know where we are, it's the Native Roots Trading Post, and we're at 700 Nicollet Mall in Minneapolis, right inside the Dayton's building on the first floor. And we have a lot of different authentic Native American art and crafts and all kinds of stuff there for sale.
Yeah, it's interesting. Somebody came in looking for me.
Mm-hmm.
And do you want to tell that story?
Yeah, somebody came in looking for Robert today, and I said, I'm his wife. And he goes, and she said, oh, you're Wendy. And we had a nice conversation, and she listens to the show, and she likes my animal segment this now, and she listens, and it's just great. It's really, really nice. So if you do listen to the show, come in and ask for us. We're in and out during the day, and we could check it out.
Well, we got one of our listeners say hashtag listwolves.org.
Yep.
Please save the wolves.
Yep. And anybody can go on that hashtag relistwolves.org and sign petitions and write letters. And they make it really easy. You just really have to fill out a couple of things and press the button, and
button.
Yeah. You click
button.
Hey now.
New Yorker.
Yeah, I know. I get a lot of that.
Button. Okay. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Button. Go ahead, Wendy. So the store has been really kicking butt,
mm-hmm.
and
we've been having a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we have some young Native Americans working the store and
mm-hmm.
running the store, and so it's been really a pleasure to see Misko and Nolan really kicking butt on
mm-hmm. that. Absolutely, yes.
So what do you got for us here in the last 6 minutes of the week?
You know, the last week has been really hectic, like you said, because we were putting together the store, and we had a grand opening and a soft opening, and it's been really busy. So we've been down there trying to get things straight. So it's been hard to come home and look to see serious animal issues that are going on right now. But I'm glad that the hashtag relistwolves.org was brought up. So thank you very much. But I've been just having like fun this week, talking about fun animal facts. And I learned something new every day too. But Robert, did you know a tiger's skin is striped? It's obvious that tigers have striped fur, but there's more to these felines that meet the eye. Not only is a tiger's fur striped, but their skin is actually striped as well, similar to a human fingerprint. Each tiger's skin stripe is unique. Suddenly, the saying, "a tiger cannot change its stripes," makes a lot more sense.
I thought it was a zebra can't change their stripes.
No, it's a tiger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think we talked about this last time, but I'm going to bring it up again. Dogs are allergic to grapes.
Yep.
Most people know that chocolate can be lethal for dogs to consume, but did you know that they can also be allergic to grapes? Even small amounts of grapes and raisins are extremely toxic to dogs and can cause kidney failure. Dogs need to be treated right away if they have ingested raisin or grape. Unlike this pooch, they should definitely not be drinking wine.
Yeah.
Definitely. I said this last time too. I think maybe we were just talking about this. Bumblebees have hair on their eyes. A bumblebee's eyes are very interesting. Not only do bees have 5 eyes, 3 small eyes and 2 large eyes, but their eyes are hairy. The 2 large eyes on the side of the bee's head have hairs on them. Scientists believe this is to help the bee detect wind direction and navigate easily during extremely windy conditions. I never knew that.
Wow.
That's crazy. A baby whale. Do you have any idea how much a baby whale might weigh?
I think you said it was like 600 or 6,000 something.
6,000 pounds.
Yeah. I think you
Now
read
that's
that
a
like yesterday.
huge growth spurt. No, you know what? I was just reading it to you after we ended the show. That's why
okay,
it seems
sorry.
familiar.
Oh,
A
geez.
baby whale weighs anywhere from 5,000 to 6,000 pounds when they are born and can gain up to 200 pounds a day when they are growing. Female whales are pregnant for roughly 1 year and produce over 200 liters of milk a day when nursing. An average adult whale weighs between 200,000 to 300,000 pounds. That's
Wow.
amazing. This was very interesting. I thought a hippopotamus,
Mm-hmm.
their sweat is pink.
Oh, wow.
Hippopotamuses have very sensitive skin that is prone to drying out and sunburns. In order to protect their skin, hippos sweat out pink moisture that acts as a protective cream to shield them from the sun. Hippos will try to spend most of their day hiding away from the sun in the shade, but if they need to be in the sun, this moisture will help them. That's crazy. Here's a funny one. I thought cows have different moo accents.
Oh.
Humans
like
are not
a
the
New
only
Yorker?
ones that have accents. Cows from different areas will moo in different regional accents. Cows that all belong to one herd will generally sound the same, but cows from other herds will moo in a slightly different tone. We wonder if cows from different areas have trouble understanding one another. Like, you always make fun of my New York accent, but we know that people from different areas of the United States, and even like from being from New York, I was from Long Island. So there's like the Long Island accent. There's the New York City accent. There's the upstate New York accent. So even New York has many accents, there. Frogs absorb water through their skin. Yeah. Now, this is positively riveting. Frogs do not drink water. Rather,
instead of riveting, I get it.
Riveting. Rivet. Frogs do not drink water. Rather, they absorb water through their skin. Frogs have a designated area on their skin known as a drinking patch located on their stomach and the undersides of their thighs, which they use to absorb water. Wouldn't it be cool to rehydrate simply by applying water to your skin? I think so. 'Cause a lot of times I don't even like drinking water.
I drink it all the time.
And very quickly, Dalmatians are born all white, and their spots come through later on.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. Hey, I want to give a shout out to Ogimaa for the news.
Yep.
State Senator of Minnesota, Mary Kunesh, for stopping in and chatting up. And go wild, you know.
Go wild, absolutely, yes.
We're going to have to go down there and get our jersey and get butt in line and tell them we know
First
somebody.
5,000.
That's
First
right.
5,000, November 26th.
We need to resist, divest, join a group, run for office. You've been listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. We're still here. We are the 7th generation.
Free Leonard Peltier. Stop line 3. Please get vaccinated.